What makes an empty world unforgettable? From deserts to frozen wastelands, each environment has a distinct mood. Despite their emptiness, these places are full of aesthetic charm. This is the beauty of Lethal Company's moons. Offense feels like a mirage. Familiar but hollow, it's the last of the desert moons. And in many ways, it mirrors Assurance. The same arid landscape stretches endlessly, dotted with pipes and fuel tanks. Strange flora abound. Even the giant pumpkins return, stubbornly sprouting in this lifeless dust. Much of its structure feels reused, almost recycled, as if this moon were a copy, rather than a place meant to be lived in. What stands out, though, are the strange remnants of a train. A cargo cart and a container left behind, but with no visible tracks, no origin or destination. It's a ghost of industry stripped of context. Just like Assurance, a ladder reaches up towards nothing, vanishing into an empty sky, while a massive tank floats just beyond the playable area. Offense feels incomplete by design, as if it's quietly unaware of its own emptiness, daring players to notice the seams in its world. Adamance is a contradiction, serene, open, and deceptively free, unlike the dense forests of Vow. This moon feels spacious, almost inviting even. The trees are sparse, the air is clean, and for once, you can actually see the horizon. But that openness comes with a strange kind of fragility. It's so open, in fact, you can simply walk out of bounds. There's no quicksand or invisible walls. The world just ends. Instead of thick vegetation, Adamance is carpeted in soft fields of flowers. Following these blossoms down a gentle slope leads you to a secluded valley, and at its heart, a small cottage. It's beautiful. An almost picturesque scene. Red trees swaying in the wind, sunlight spilling across the petals, and the kind of moment that feels too peaceful for Lethal Company. Inside the cottage, graffiti hints at something more. A secret moon. A mystery hidden to the employee. Just as you begin to admire the calm, the game reminds you of where you are. A violent, jarring contrast to the serenity just moments before. It's Lethal Company's cruelty at its finest. No matter how peaceful the world appears, death is never far behind.
Hey.
Rend marks a turning point, the first of the snow-covered moons, and easily the coldest of them all. From the moment you land, the world is consumed by a relentless blizzard. Visibility drops to almost nothing, and the air itself feels hostile. The storm never stops and turns the landscape into an endless white void. Without the guiding lights scattered through the snow, it's almost impossible not to lose your way. Following those faint lights leads you to a familiar sight. Another small cottage, half buried in the snow, Its layout mirrors the one found on Adamance, suggesting a kind of corporate repetition. The same designs, the same lifeless efficiency, stamped across various worlds. Whereas the cottage on Adamance is cozy and inviting, this cottage seems like a final bastion of hope. If you look beyond the storm, you can spot the structure of a dam off in the distance, similar to the one on Vow, though this is completely inaccessible by normal means. Maybe Rend was always like this. Maybe it was once a livable world before the cold took over. Now only the wind remains, carving the last remnants of life into ice. Dine continues where Rend left off. Another moon swallowed by cold and silence, the same blinding snowstorms rage here, cutting across the terrain with unrelenting winds. Unlike Rend, there's no cottage to find, no small refuge from the storm. Instead, the landscape is marked only by indicators of previous company structures. There are buried remnants of fences and structures swallowed by snow and time. It feels like the ghost of a place that was once alive, as if whatever once stood here has long since been erased. Dine is desolate, stripped of warmth, purpose, or identity. The fences jutting out of the snow serve as a quiet reminder that people once tried to build something here, and have failed. Titan stands as the final and most imposing of the snow-covered moons, a world of sheer scale and cold indifference. From the moment you land, the landscape feels monumental. Looming ahead is an enormous structure, its shadow stretching across the frozen ground. From this vantage point, this is the first time the skybox becomes obvious. All moons in Lethal Company use this skybox, which is an image taken in South Africa. It's just an interesting little fact that becomes super apparent on this moon in particular. The facility dominates everything, reducing the player to a speck beneath its towering presence. When you finally reach the top, the structure reveals itself in full, a colossal mining complex, its design echoing the oppressive architecture of the company's headquarters on Gordian. It's as though the company's influence has reached its purest form here. Absolute, mechanical, and inescapable. If Rend and Dine represent desolation, Titan represents domination. Artifice is where the themes of Lethal Company start to come full circle. It's immediately unsettling. From there, things only get stranger. Massive robots stand across the surface. And the landing area is lined with garages that feel more like evidence than structures. Remnants of something the company tried to erase. Inside the first garage, there are rows of hospital beds, all abandoned as if everyone left in a rush. Behind it, there's a shack with a hole blown out the back, leading straight into the wasteland. Maybe it was an escape route. The next garage is filled with crates and machinery, possibly used to store the same robots from outside. One of the garages is completely consumed by fog, not just visually disorienting, but thematically fitting. You can't see what's ahead, and maybe you're not meant to. Artifice is the secret moon, the one hinted at by the graffiti in Adamance, and it doesn't show up on the regular list. That detail alone makes it feel like something forbidden, a place the company doesn't want you to find. Compared to the other moons, there's nothing natural here. It's artificial in every sense, lifeless, industrial, and deeply unsettling. If the other moons represent decay or neglect, Artifice represents something worse: intent. The company abandoned this location, leaving behind whatever disturbing experiments that were performed upon its surface. Embryon is the final moon, and it feels like the end of everything. It's hidden even deeper than Artifice, and once you arrive, it's immediately clear why. The surface is glassy, covered in thick layers of amethyst. Nothing lives here, not a trace of vegetation. It's a dead world, scorched in time and heat. There is a facility, of course. There always is. But unlike the other moons, there are no signs of human life. That is, if you ignore the old birds, or radmechs, towering machines scattered across the rocky terrain. They sleep during the morning hours, silent and inert, but their presence alone dominates the landscape. When they wake, it's as if the entire moon comes alive again, not with life, but with menace. Embryon feels like the logical conclusion of everything the company represents. It's a world stripped bare, industrial and lifeless. The moons of Lethal Company show how the environment shapes the story. Each world, from barren deserts to snowbound wastelands, balances design, danger, and narrative. Structures, hazards, and natural formations guide the player while reinforcing the company's presence. Even in their emptiness, these moons are carefully crafted, making each one visually striking